Good morning, Dreamhouse Nation. It's James Lewis of This Dream House. And one of the things that all houses need is good quality soap. So we have a special guest today, Jeanne Basone. She originally starred in Gorges Ladies of Wrestling as Hollywood, and now she is known for her company, Hollywood Botanica. So we'd like to introduce Jeanne. Jeanne, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, honey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
So what is Hollywood Botanica?
So that is a line of soap company that I came up with before this pandemic. So it was probably December 2018. I was doing some shopping, looking around, and I love, first of all, anything that has no preservatives in it. So right away, anything that's natural, that's good for you, is right up my alley. So I was looking at these soaps that I was going to purchase for some gifts. And I started looking at them. I'm like, oh, my gosh, I'm looking at all the ingredients in them. I said, these are really cool. And I thought, oh, my gosh, what's stopping me from starting my own line of soap? And so I started. I did a lot of due diligence because, obviously, that's something you need to do when you're doing something like that. I looked at videos. I bought books. And then I started my own. And so then, like January of 2019, I started giving some away and having people try it and going on from there. And then I just had I made a site, Hollywood Botanica. That's with a K. And I started listing all the soaps. And, one thing that's really cool about these soaps that are different than soaps that, regular soap that you buy in the store, the ingredients are all natural. So I'm using organic coconut oil, olive oil. I either use shea butter or shea butter or what's my other butter? Cocoa butter and a little castor oil. And then, of course, you need some sodium dioxide, which is the lye part that makes the soap, and some distilled water. And then I use essential oils. So I love doing what I do. That's all that's in the soap. And when people use them, they come back and go, oh, my gosh, my skin feels so soft. And it's just, when you're used to, things that have preservatives in them, they're a little bit different than obviously products that don't have preservatives in them. And then I have mermaids. The mermaids are a pretty big seller as well. But, I mean, if you've looked on the site there's something for everybody. People who have sensitive skin, this is perfect for them, are allergic, because I have some that have no scents in them. They're just pure. So it's just a white bar soap with nothing else but those ingredients that I had mentioned to you. So it's pretty cool. I love it. And you know what? And I ventured out a little bit, too. I thought, well, let's try shaving cream. And there's 3 ingredients in that. It's just olive oil, shea butter, coconut oil. That's it. And it leaves your skin pretty nice. And then I did a body butter as well. So, but I love the soap. And one thing about doing it, it makes me happy. That's like when you find something that you love, just like I love wrestling, you continue and you keep doing it and you do it. And you can be, I know I always tell young kids, hey, don't wrestle after 50, but you know what? If you're in shape and your body is telling you go, then do it. So
now, fortunately, my listeners are a lot smarter than me. But you mentioned ingredients, you mentioned butter, you mentioned cocoa, and these are soaps that look good and smell good. And we have to mention this, well, at least for people like me, they're not food.
This
correct?
Is not food. Some of them look like food. So if you go and you put up HollywoodBotanica.com and you look over at one of my pink unicorn ones that have pink and white in them, you'll see at the top, I call that soap frosting. That is not anything to eat. It is all soap. So kind of I pipe it. Like if we're piping a cake, people know what that means. You squirt. But so the design on the top is not food, everybody. Please don't eat the soap. And then, of course, as you see, there's some botanicals on some of them. There's different little flowers that I use on some of my soaps. And then I love tea tree. It's great for your skin. I use white kaolin clay. That's good for your skin. So I kind of incorporate things that are good for our skin. Basil orange. I mean, you can't go wrong. I have all different kinds. My boyfriend, I'll tell you this, he's very picky, really picky. I did one that is like, I think for some of the listeners, have you heard of the brand Kiehl's or Kiehl's? I'm not quite sure how to say it. It's Kiehls. Those are in the department store, and they have a really great soap that men love. Well, I found the same thing, and he keeps coming in here and grabbing that same soap. I go, you have to tell me when you take the soap, because I sell that soap, and I don't want to not have that available. And that one is I think that's my Bourbon Street soap, and it's lovely. So that's a nice manly scent, and it just lemongrass. I have espresso soap so that I put coffee beans in the soap. I have a soap that I make with coconut milk, which is really nice and creamy. And then for my hippie people that like hemp oil and something that smells a little woodsy like patchouli and sandalwood, I have that as well. So there's just, and then I also, for my fans and friends, I'm like, what do you guys like? What do you want me to make? One of them said, do you have any peppermint left? I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no peppermint. I've got to have peppermint. And that's, cooling on the skin. And my favorite one that everyone loves is Beach Baby. If you like the smell of copper tone kind of smelling beach, that one's for you.
Sounds phenomenal. It sounds like you have so many different options for our listeners. And then, of course, my favorite part is where they're made and how they're made.
Exactly. So I make them here in my home. So I use my kitchen that's where I do it. Everything is locally made in Nashville, Tennessee. And I think that's what you asked. And I wanted to let our listeners know, we all know who William Patrick Corgan is, NWA president, Billy Corgan. Mm-hmm. Billy loved the soap so much that he had me make 60 for his store. He has a tea store in the Chicago area. It's called Madame Zuzu's, and that's in Highland Park. And he just purchased, because he has a tea shop, I made a turmeric ginger soap. And he's like, oh, my gosh, Madame Zuzu's needs that. And I also put organic ginger turmeric tea in it, as well as ginger. So, and that has an orange essential smell to it. So Billy's got that at his store, Madame Zuzu's. If you guys remember Rhonda Shear, the lady host from Up All Night back in the day, USA Up All Night, Rhonda Shear, do you remember her?
Yes.
She's got my soap in her store. She's got a store in Florida in St. Pete called Retreat St. Pete, and she's over there on Central Avenue, so she's selling them. And then for people in California, Ventura, California, there's a company, it's called Jellyfish Vintage Boutique. They're over there, and they loved all the beach and mermaid-scented stuff for their store. And, of course, my store is HollywoodBotanica.com, and you can order it there as well. So it's kind of exciting. I love doing this. It's a neat little passion hobby that I picked up.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's always great when we get family-owned and operated businesses that are American, and we'd love
American
that.
Made in America.
American made, exactly.
I'm not far from you either, and I think you have a birthday coming up because our birthdays are 2 days apart. I know you don't know that, but I know that because I do my due diligence.
Nice.
So after this call, kiddo, I want you to send me your address so I could send you a little soap gift.
That is awesome. So are you the 15th or are you the 19th?
I am the 19th. Very good.
Nice. That is awesome. Yeah, so definitely our listeners need to check out your website. And nice thing is you have two websites. What are the two websites?
Do. So HollywoodBotanica.com, and that you spell Botanica with a K. And then if those who love Etsy, HollywoodBotanica.etsy.com. But you could do a search for that as well. And I have Instagram too, and that's Hollywood Botanica. Everything is pretty simple.
So it sounds like we got all the bases covered with the soap. Do you have any wrestling events that you're going to be going to?
So here's something new. I have it's a second comic that is coming out, and that's by Squared Circle Comics. Carlos Tron is the artist. John Crowther is the writer. It's a bio, and right now they have finished. They're working on mine, The Rock and Roll Express, and Bruno Sammartino. Those 3 comics are on a Kickstarter right now for people to go in and buy the comics, get them autographed. But we have my first Comic-Con to sign at is Daytona Beach, Florida, and I believe those dates are September 18 and 19. So that's a Saturday and a Sunday. I did have AppleCon that was May 1st, but that got pushed to September. And then, of course, there's the California Alley Club. I'm not quite sure if I'll be able to attend all those because of the Daytona Beach. Gosh, I wanted to say races, but I'm not racing. I'm selling comics. Maybe that would be my next adventure, to race.
That could be pretty fun. It's worth giving it a try. Well, it has been a pleasure having you on the show today. So before we let you go, if you would give out your social media and the website again.
I sure will. I have a couple of social medias, everybody. A Glow Hollywood, that's my Twitter, Glow Hollywood. And then the Instagram is official Glow Hollywood. And the website for the soap is www.hollywoodbotanica.com. And there's an Instagram for hollywoodbotanica.com as well. Thanks, everybody, for listening to us.
It's been our pleasure.
Hey, don't forget, be safe, be well, and don't forget to wash your hands.